Hi, and welcome back to the Saveitforparts Channel, where today I quit. Not the channel, my day job. I actually gave a notice about a month ago, and today is my last day at my regular real-world job. This is kind of a big thing for me. I've been hoping to get to this point with the YouTube channel for a while because I would like to be a full-time YouTuber. And I've been hoping to transition out of my day job into full-time YouTube, but it's a really big step, and it's kind of a gamble. People often ask, at what size do you start making money? Or they just assume that a channel my size makes tons of money and that I make a living off of this. I actually don't. This is going to be a pay cut for me. I don't usually get into exact financial details. Let's just say YouTube right now, this month, is bringing in something similar to minimum wage. Now, that is minimum wage in a progressive state like Minnesota, but it's still basically minimum wage. And YouTube income is very unreliable. Some months I make a third of that, other months I make twice that. And on average, it is not reliable at all. It can be up, it can be down, it can be all over the place. So going full-time at around 300,000 subscribers is really a risk. Things could go wrong. Things could go downhill. I could make no money. I could make more money, which I would like to, obviously, and that is part of the reason for quitting my day job so that I can focus on the channel more and really grow the channel. I felt like I was in kind of a catch-22 situation recently where the workload and time to grow the YouTube channel was so much that I no longer had time for the day job, but I wasn't making enough money to ditch the day job. So taking that step again is kind of a gamble, hoping that I will now have the time to improve the YouTube channel's performance, improve my time, the amount of time that I have to give to YouTube to focus on making videos better, longer potentially, maybe more of them, although I'm going to try to focus on better first, quality over quantity. So I am trying to improve some things like lighting, color balance, audio. Heck, I'm even considering getting a haircut more than every 6 months. Just little things like that that take a little more time, are a little more annoying, hoops to jump through, but hopefully will improve the overall look of the channel and improve the overall performance of the channel. Now, I definitely don't want to focus on the optimization and money-making side of the YouTube channel. I started this YouTube thing mostly for fun. I actually started it as an excuse to finish projects that I like to do and show them to people out there. So that's what I'd like to continue focusing on, is doing things that I enjoy, doing projects that I enjoy, and hopefully sharing them with people who also enjoy similar things. Now, that might mean that the channel isn't always what you, the viewer, want to see. I know the satellite content and the space and ham radio content are all very big and very popular topics on here, but they weren't actually what this channel started as. I was originally starting with DIY boats and vehicles, weird construction projects around Sandland, very different stuff, and it was kind of all over the place. The satellite topics are the ones that took off, and I will definitely still be doing those, but I don't want to focus just on that because I have so many other hobbies. So you'll probably be seeing lots of different content on here. In fact, we recently just got back from a trip to Alaska, so there will be a ton of Alaska videos coming out in the near future, even though those do not get as many views as the satellite videos. Apparently the raw beauty of nature is just not as interesting to everybody as listening to a satellite going overhead, and that's fine. I'm very interested in the Alaska stuff. I grew up there. I have a ton of video from our trip, and that's what I'm going to be pushing out over the next couple weeks, but there will be some satellite and radio topics squeezed in there as well. In fact, I have so much video right now that I'm going to be upping my release schedule, so there will be a little bit more content, at least for the next few weeks, and then we'll see if things even out and I get through the backlog a little bit. And again, I know people will ask about the financial stuff. The Alaska trip was not because of that big YouTube money. This was something we'd been planning since COVID happened, actually. So 5 years of kind of planning and trying to get the Alaska trip put together, saving up money. We split it multiple ways with multiple friends. So that Alaska trip was not because I'm making a fortune on YouTube. I'm not. I was kind of waffling about, do I want to quit my day job this year now that I've spent all this money on this big trip? Do I want to hold off a little bit? And really, I just decided this is a good time for me to quit. I'm kind of tired of doing the things I was doing. It was an office job. It had a lot of different stuff in it, but after a while it just got to be the same kind of thing, answering the phone, answering people's questions. In addition to the time that actually making the YouTube videos takes, there are a bunch of things related to this channel that are taking a little bit more and more time as the channel grows. I do still try to read all of the comments on the YouTube channel. Now, YouTube has been messing around with the comment system again. Right now it filters by most relevant, which means I miss a lot of comments. I have to go in and manually set that to most recent, and then I can potentially see all of them. They've made it potentially a little bit easier to look at comment replies, which has always been a problem with the YouTube comments. If you make a comment and I reply to it, and you reply to my reply, I almost never see that. It's just gone. It's into the ether. And that's why I recommend people email me if they have something they'd like me to actually see and potentially respond to. And my email address is on the main channel page, or you can use gabe@saveitforparts.com. Of course, emails are another thing that I have to keep on top of. When we got back from Alaska, I had something like 700 new emails to go through. And likewise, there are messages on Patreon. I have a Discord. I have all kinds of social media type things that I'm not great at staying on top of. For example, I don't know how to even get my messages in Instagram. I use Instagram on my computer. There's apparently no way to read private messages on Chrome on my computer on Instagram. I should be using the app. Similarly, Reddit has like 4 ways to send private messages or chats or something else, and I don't know what all those 4 ways are. So if you message me on Reddit, I might see it 6 months later, or I might just never see it. So again, because I'm kind of old school, if you want to get a hold of me, email is the most reliable. Now, people have asked if I would hire someone to do some of the social media stuff, to do things like editing, like marketing, like finding sponsors, and I'm not big enough for that yet. Basically, I can barely afford to pay myself minimum wage. And I actually like editing. I like doing a lot of the parts that go into making videos. And I don't know if I'd want to hire somebody to do social media stuff because it doesn't feel as social then, and I don't quite understand the point. Yes, I know big channels have to do that. I know there will be a point where I will no longer be able to stay on top of that stuff myself, and I'll have to figure out a solution for it, but we're not there yet. Now again, as I probably said earlier, this is all a gamble. Things could change completely. Bigger channels than me have been demonetized by Google, by YouTube, for mysterious reasons. Bigger channels than me have expressed similar concerns about not making a reliable income and not trusting the YouTube income enough to be comfortable with that. I could become completely irrelevant due to a whim of the Google algorithm. Nobody really understands how YouTube picks or features videos, including possibly YouTube themselves. Likewise, AI could take over YouTube completely, the way it's done with some other platforms, and everyone could end up watching just AI-generated nonsense instead of actual content. That's a real concern for creators like myself. Now, one potential thing that can help out with some of that is Patreon, which I have mentioned. I've been trying to mention that more and more in my videos. Patreon is somewhat separate from YouTube, somewhat separate from Google, although I think Google has its fingers in everything these days. But Patreon is a way that people can directly support creators like myself. If you like my content, if you want to send me $5 a month, $10 a month, something like that, it really does help out, and it creates a separate income stream that is not directly controlled by YouTube, not directly controlled by Google. So if something does happen on YouTube, I can shift over to another platform potentially. I can keep a lot of the core followers, a lot of the core viewers who are on Patreon, and you can actually join Patreon for free if you want. You just don't get all of the benefits that creators offer. For example, I offer all of my videos a week early at the $5 tier, and then at the $10 and $20 tier, you can get your name in the end of the credits. Now, another thing I could do is more sponsorships. I could sell out. I've been approached by a bunch of companies wanting me to review their gadgets and gizmos. A lot of them I turn down because honestly, they're kind of boring gadgets to me. I don't care about the latest car dashboard air purifier. I don't care about the latest AI-controlled toothbrush. I try to stick with stuff that's somewhat relevant, like solar panels or radio hardware or companies like PCBWay, who have been a regular sponsor here. And I would like to continue that and be a little choosy about the sponsors that I use. I have talked to other YouTubers who have smaller channels than mine and make quite a bit more money than I do because they do a lot of reviews, but that's not something that I really want to do all the time. I would like to kind of stick with my core content, maybe throw a review in here or there. I should also mention that you can buy great Save It for Parts merch like this t-shirt here, although that's not really an income stream for me either because I have the profit margin set really low. I do have an Amazon affiliate thing too, but I don't really know how to push that effectively, and I never make any money from that thing either. And yes, these are all things I could focus on more now that I have the free time to grow some of the affiliated things surrounding the channel, not just the videos themselves, but things like merchandising, like affiliate stuff, like finding sponsorships. Yeah, those are all other things I could work on. They do tend to take some time away from the actual video creation, away from the actual projects, which is really what I want to do. I want to focus on projects. I want to do projects. I want to continue to share my projects. So it all comes back to that. That's why I started the channel. That is why I'm continuing the channel. And I'm really hoping I can make a living on that, because that has kind of been my dream for a while. And we've just gotten to the point where I'm willing to take a shot at it. As usual, I will have links down below to all of the ways that you can support me if you're into that. And you know what? If you don't want to support me, that's perfectly fine too. If you just enjoy the videos, if you enjoy the projects that I make, you know what? That's fine. That is something that I enjoy too, and I enjoy hearing about it in the comments, on email, on Discord. All right, I think that is more than enough rambling from me in a video that is basically filler. Stay tuned for my next video, which hopefully will be more interesting content. Feel free to like and subscribe as yet another way to help the channel grow. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.